we're in this place now where gender has become the question.
Mm-hmm.
And we think it's the future. You're going to see more trans athletes, more people, more young athletes comfortable with who they are, and they'll identify, where the gender that they want to identify with. But when that comes into sports, there's the question of fairness. Where do you classify them? Where do you put them?
I think, as a society, I think in our brains, we are just saying, all right, it's unfair because what if this person decides they want to play in the WNBA? Like, do you really think that this little child is thinking about, oh my God, I'm gonna turn into a woman so I can just dominate basketball? Like, no, like it's a child being a child. And I think that's what we forget. A child being a child, some children wanna play sports. Like let them. Like at a certain age, it's all fair. It's still fair. It's like you can't just, I don't like when you try to put a blanket rule, a hard covered top over something that you don't understand. There's like, if one person is above it, okay, you penalize that one person. You can't penalize the field. Some kids just want to play. I just want to play soccer. I just want to play. Because at the end of the day, if a woman can play the other sport, what's the difference between the transgender? My daughters, both of my daughters, play on men's teams. They play on women's team and men's teams. No one's complaining.
If they couldn't play, they wouldn't be out there.
But I'm saying they're because at that age, they have the physical attribute over it. You gotta remember, until about 16, 17-year-olds,
develop faster,
girls develop faster. Yeah. So what ends up happening is my daughter, I had to grade check my daughter. I'm going to tournaments where I had to bring her birth certificate because she's too physical. So they're like, oh, she's older than everyone. Like, no, she's actually, they give the girls a 2-year, lead, and this is her age still. It's 12U, she's 12. She's not 14, she's 12. But, because she's fouling and just being over-aggressive. Same thing with my youngest. Same thing, she bullies the boys. So if there's no problem with girls playing men basketball, what's the difference between a transgender boy going into girls? We've played against transgenders, and trust me, I was not gonna think about complaining. Like, oh my God, she's horrible. You know what I mean? Can't guard the pick and roll, slow feet. You know what I mean?
That's all you're looking for.
That's all I'm looking like. There's little slow feet. You can't guard the pick and roll. Keep going at her. Like all the other parents are like, this is unfair. She's missed every layup. Shh. Like, calm down. Like, shit, we're winning by 30 right now. What are you talking about? But it's just the thought process that scares us versus what reality is. If it's a dual sport, period, in our world, it should be okay. Swimming doesn't have nothing to do with gender at that point. All racing sports doesn't really have anything to do with gender. Because you have dual track, you have dual tennis, you have gymnastics, golf.
I got one for you.
What?
Fighting. Boxing or MMA.
But okay, now that becomes the problem. That's the only problem I see is physical. See, all the sports I just told you, volleyball, beach volleyball, they're dual sports where men and women are playing together. You know what I mean? So if men and women can both play the same sports together, then the gender shouldn't matter. Then you shouldn't be able to exclude a transgender in these sports. Now, when you talk about physical, when it has something to do with physical dominance, at a certain age, MMA, boxing, wrestling will become a problem. And those are the sports that I think at a certain age needs to be capped off.
What's the age?
Again, you can't blanket it because depending on who the person is. You know, if it's someone who's 5'6", 120, you can go all the way through high school in wrestling. Who the fuck are you gonna beat up on? Like, you know what I mean? Let's just be honest. Well, if you're 6'8", 245, yeah, okay, yeah. We're gonna have to deny you. But so it should be off of what that person, because even in high school, our football team had a girl. She was the center. Her boyfriend was the running back. So we used to make the joke like, yeah, you better buy them flowers or she ain't blocking for you, bro. You know, she all the way through her senior year, starting. You know what I mean? So, you know,
football is a funny one. There's been women throughout football, you know, and different stories. The girl that played the kicker this year, you know, there was controversy around it, but it was like she can kick a football 60 yards and is accurate from 60 yards, puts points on the board. What do you care?
And I think that's the problem. If the world doesn't understand it, you want to deny it. When all you do is just think. And that's what I did. Like I'm watching, I'm in AAU, so I know my daughters, I can say, okay, we're playing against them. Like the attributes that the physical part of it, it's when a transgender want to play, they just want to be happy and try to be as normal as they possibly can. Mm-hmm. You don't deny that. You do not deny that through high school. There's no point, there's no advantage. There's really no advantage. Now, if you have a kid that's 6'8", 240, of course, depending on what sport they're playing, they have an advantage. They're, playing basketball and they're doing 360 windmills on all the girls, then okay, yeah, hold on, But
the thing about youth sports, though, you can level that up. So if that kid is, I think Pop Warner football is basically like that. If you're, 12 years old.
But they don't have Pop Warner football for girls. But girls do play Pop Warner football.
Girls play Pop Warner.
See, that's what I'm saying. So girls do play Pop Warner football.
But if there's physical danger, that would probably be the concern,
you just move them up in age.
Right.
So that's what I said. So, making laws that prohibit, transgenders at a certain age it's technically unfair for them. I know the whole thing is protect girls. Well, natural girls are more mature at a certain age than any boy. So no matter what this boy decides to do, you still have an advantage over him.